What's going on, guys? So if you're like me, you have a pickup truck because like my dad once told me, if you need a pickup truck, nothing else will do. So you know, I've got my pickup truck, and normally the way that a pickup truck sits is it's always lower in the front, higher in the rear, because they anticipate you using it to haul stuff. And when you put stuff into the bed of your truck, it'll generally level it out. But if you're like me, you don't always have stuff in the back of your truck. I've got a pickup truck for when I need it and for when I'm towing. So I decided to put a leveling kit onto my truck. I've got a 2007 Dodge Ram Mega Cab. I just used I think it was like 1.5 inch, 2 inch leveling kit. I got it at Summit Racing, like I always do. I always talk to a guy named Abner, and I'll put his information in the description here. Always takes care of me, helps me out. It's super knowledgeable, so I always give him a call. So you can do the same. If you're enjoying those videos, give it a thumbs up. It's always appreciated and really helps out the channel. So again, thanks for watching the channel. I'm going to throw up some information on leveling kit that I did, along with the shocks that I put on as well. Okay, so speaking of the leveling kit that I put on, essentially, just right under here, it's just the block that's in between here. Normally this pad would have been right up underneath, but where the tower is for the shock. So pretty simplistic. Basically, this being the driver's side, you just had to take off the nuts at the top, take the nut off the top of the shock. That whole system would pop out. And then obviously you're trying to get the suspension as far away from the body as possible to give you enough room to take that spring out, and then put that spacer in there. So the spacer had essentially studs on it that obviously you're able to put those bolts onto. So I figured while I was in there, I was going to put a little bit longer Bilstein shocks in there. I'll put the description and a link to the kit that I used for leveling and for the shock that I used from Bilstein. Got everything at Summit Racing like I always do. I think the one thing that I wanted to talk about was that the driver's side was super easy, but when I got to the passenger side, you had to do a little finagling to get the suspension away from the body enough to be able to get the spring back in. I ended up having to use a spring compressor to get the spring back in there on that side. So I don't know if there's another easier way, but I watched a video on it, and it made it seem pretty simplistic until I ended up doing it. So but that's about it, man. I'll put a few pictures of before and after, link to the parts, and everything's all good, man. So I appreciate you guys watching the channel. Please give it a like, a thumbs up, and share it if you wouldn't mind. Really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.